Parker is fighting problems of his own. The only ground he can sluice is frozen solid, and the costs to get the gold out are skyrocketing.
We're in the red and we need gold.
Imagine months of hard work, working in freezing temperatures and risking their lives every day to extract gold. But when the season ended and the paychecks arrived, Parker's team faced a shock they never imagined. Parker Schnabel and his team toiled tirelessly in Season 15 of Gold Rush, but in the end, their rightful money was lost. The team's faces were initially filled with joy, but as the truth emerged, everyone was left stunned. Some erupted in anger, while others silently stared at Parker. Was this all part of a larger conspiracy, or simply a paperwork error? The entire case has many twists that will surprise you. To find out how Parker's team reacted and what the real reason turned out to be, you'll have to watch this video to the end. So sit back, grab some popcorn, and watch this drama from the world of Gold Rush, which is no less than a real-life thriller. And yes, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because the revelations in the upcoming episodes will be even more shocking. Background of Gold Rush. Gold Rush is Discovery Channel's most-watched show, featuring gold miners trying their luck. The show isn't just about the search for gold, it also depicts a story of hard work, risk, friendship, betrayal, and dreams. This is why the show is so popular with viewers worldwide. Each season brings new twists and new dangers, keeping viewers captivated. Parker Schnabel is the show's brightest star. He entered the industry at a very young age and captured everyone's attention with his hard work and smart decisions. Parker's team works 16 to 18 hours a day, no matter the weather or the harsh conditions. For them, it's not just work, but a battle for life and dreams. Parker's leadership and his team's passion set them apart from other gold miners. In past seasons, Parker and his team have faced many challenging challenges. Sometimes the machinery broke down, sometimes the weather was unfavorable, and sometimes government regulations hindered their work. But Parker never gave up and kept his team going. At times, it seemed like this would be his last season, but Parker's ingenuity and the team's hard work took them to new heights. Remembering moments from the past season still thrills fans. The beginning of Season 15, Expectations and Big Plans. Season 15 begins with renewed enthusiasm and big dreams. This time, Parker enters the field with the goal of extracting more gold than ever before. His goal this season is so lofty that even his team is shocked to hear it. Parker knows this season won't be easy, but if he succeeds, it will be the biggest victory of his life. He clearly stated that this time he's not just coming for gold, but to make history. But with big dreams come big challenges. This time the weather tested Parker's team from the very beginning. Sudden rain and snowfall made the work extremely difficult. Machinery kept breaking down, and they had to repair it time and time again. Each malfunction meant delays in gold, production, and financial losses. For Parker, it was a daily battle. On one hand, the weather. On the other, the ticking clock. The location was also different and more dangerous this time. The team had to work in deep mines, where the slightest mistake could prove fatal. Parker had to carefully consider every step, as even a small mistake could result not only in the loss of gold, but also in a life. This created constant tension within the team. This season, some new faces joined Parker's team. These new members were known for their skills, but adjusting to the veteran members of Parker's team was difficult. Initially, there were some disagreements and arguments, but Parker tried to bring everyone together. The experience of veteran members like Chris Dumit and Mitch Blaschke proved very useful. The new members also infused the team with new energy and freshness. From the very beginning of the season, it was clear that this journey wasn't going to be easy. Parker had big plans, but the challenges he faced were also immense. Now it remained to be seen whether Parker and his team would overcome these challenges and fulfill their dream. This suspense is what keeps viewers glued to each episode, keeping them glued to the screen. Major setbacks and challenges in the beginning. At the start of Season 15, Parker Schnabel and his team believed everything would go according to plan. They had already mapped the location, prepared the machinery, and thoroughly briefed the team. However, within the first week, they faced setbacks that shook the team's morale. The weather posed the biggest challenge. Sudden heavy rain and snowfall turned the roads into mud. Heavy machinery slipped and got stuck in the mud, halting work for several hours. Parker had only a few days, and every minute was precious. But the weather disrupted his timetable. Getting to the actual gold location wasn't easy either. This time, the site Parker had chosen was dangerous and deep. The team had to build temporary bridges and paths to reach it. At times, it seemed that just one wrong step could lead to a major disaster. Parker even visited the site several times to boost the team's morale and reassure them that he was with them. Every step to reach the gold was a life-threatening task. Machinery breakdowns became the biggest problem of the season. Parker had purchased some large and expensive machinery for the new season, but the constant cold and rain repeatedly damaged them. Whenever a machine broke down, the entire team's work would come to a halt. Once, the largest digging machine suddenly stopped working, taking hours to repair. The tension was clearly visible on Parker's face. The problems weren't limited to the machinery. Repair mechanics couldn't reach them on time. Due to the remote location and inclement weather, machine parts weren't available on time. Parker often had to go out himself to get parts. This was not only a time-consuming task, but also a financial loss. Parker knew that if this situation continued, their gold production would be severely affected. Amidst all these difficulties, the team's morale also began to decline. The constant hard work, cold weather, and repeated difficulties exhausted everyone. Some of the team members even argued. Parker reassured everyone and reminded them of the dream they were there to fulfill. It was Parker's leadership style that kept the team from collapsing, but it was clear that the days ahead would be even more difficult. Gold begins to be found. Hard work pays off. After weeks of relentless hard work and struggle, the moment everyone had been waiting for finally arrived. The team began digging for the right gold, and when the first real gold shone through their machines, everyone was filled with tears of joy. Parker himself described that moment as very special because it was the first reward for their hard work. All the team members hugged each other and even had a small party. It was a ray of hope for them, giving them the strength to move forward. Parker's face was radiant that day. He praised the team and said that this was just the beginning. Even greater gold was yet to be found. He encouraged everyone to keep working hard and not be afraid of any obstacles. The experience of veteran team members like Chris Dumit and Mitch Blashko, along with the energy of new members, made the celebration even more special. But amidst this joy, a shadow loomed. Parker sensed that everything wouldn't be so easy. He warned his team that the real challenge would begin. When gold begins to be mined, the risks increase, whether it's government regulations, machinery problems, or tensions within the team. Just a few days after the celebration, Parker's fears began to come true. As the pace of work increased, the pressure on the machinery increased, and minor defects began to appear. Some team members began making mistakes due to fatigue, hindering gold production. Parker knew that if he didn't strengthen the team at this time, all their hard work would be in vain. It was a period of mixed joy and anxiety for the team. On one hand, they were elated at winning the gold, while on the other, they feared the dangers ahead. Parker himself was at a loss as to how to keep the team motivated while simultaneously preparing them for the dangers ahead. This turning point in Season 15 was crucial, as it was where the story began to take a new turn. The promise of money. But paperwork gets stuck. After weeks of hard work and exhaustion in extracting gold, the day Parker's team had been eagerly awaiting finally arrived. They received news that their hard work would be rewarded in the form of payment. A smile of relief returned to the team members' faces. Everyone thought they would now return to their families, repay their debts, and fulfill their dreams. Parker also assured the team that everyone would soon have their wages in their hands. But as the payment process began, everything suddenly changed. A paperwork error was reported. Signatures were missing on some documents, dates were incorrect, and approvals were missing on others. Initially, the team thought it was just a minor error that would be resolved soon. But as time passed, the problems only worsened. Parker himself was shocked. He immediately tried to contact the authorities, but everywhere he received only evasive responses. Some said the file wasn't submitted on time. Others said there was a system error. Gradually, the team's patience began to wear thin. They began to suspect they were being cheated. Many team members began to raise questions. They said, "What's the point of all this hard work if they don't get their money on time?" Some even suggested that perhaps the actual gold medals were being hidden and they wouldn't receive their full share. Parker tried to keep the team calm, but the situation was spiraling out of control. Meanwhile, another piece of news came that shook everyone. It was revealed that some documents had been lost. Upon hearing this, the team erupted in anger. They were convinced that this wasn't just a mistake, but part of a larger conspiracy. Parker's heart sank, as this was a huge blow to him as well. The team's reaction: anger, argument, and tension. As news spread that the documents had disappeared, the atmosphere within the team became even more heated. Chris Dumit, known for his calm and humorous nature, was the most furious this time. He openly questioned Parker about how this had happened. Chris said that if Parker had monitored everything properly, this mess would never have happened. Rick Ness also expressed his displeasure. He said that the team had risked their lives to retrieve the gold, and now they were only receiving excuses. Rick's anger towards Parker was clearly visible. He told Parker that it was his duty to tell the team the truth, no matter how harsh it was. The other team members also began blaming each other. Some said it was all a ploy by government agencies, while others believed Parker himself was hiding all the information from the team. Gradually, mutual trust within the team began to break down. The sound of machines was replaced by arguments and shouting. Parker tried his best to calm the team down. He gathered everyone and explained that he was also troubled by the situation and was working day and night to ensure everyone received their money on time. Parker also promised that he would fight for the team to the last, no matter what. But even Parker's words couldn't fully convince the team at that time. Older members like Chris and Rick warned Parker that if concrete action wasn't taken soon, the team could disintegrate. Parker now faced a dual challenge. On one hand, solving the mess, and on the other, saving his team from disintegration. The situation became so dire that some team members threatened to stop work. Parker knew that if this happened, not only would gold production come to a halt, but his name and the show's image would also be tarnished. Under this pressure, Parker's face clearly betrayed his stress. This entire incident made it clear that this wasn't just a fight for money, but a test of faith. The bond between Parker and his team was now very fragile, and this was going to lead the story towards its next big twist in the coming days. Entry of government agencies. Tensions within the team were already running high, and then another major twist came. Suddenly, one day, a convoy of government vehicles arrived at Parker's camp. All the team members watched in astonishment as several officers arrived on site with stern faces and serious expressions. There had been no prior notice of their arrival. Everything happened so suddenly that even Parker himself was momentarily at a loss to understand what was happening. As soon as the officers arrived, they surrounded the entire gold production area and demanded documents from Parker. Suspicion was clearly visible in their eyes. They asked the team to show all the documents related to the quantity of gold, transactions, and payments. The team members watched silently, but one question lingered in their minds. Why was this all so sudden? Parker tried his best to control the situation. He showed them all the files and records, but the officers' attitude clearly indicated that they were not there simply to gather information, but rather harbored serious suspicions. The questions were being asked so meticulously that Parker and his team were sweating. It gradually became clear that the reason for the payment stoppage might not be just a paperwork error, but also government interference. The team began to feel that something was being hidden from them. Chris Dumit whispered to Rick Ness that perhaps the government didn't want the actual gold quantity to be revealed to the world. Rick agreed, saying that this wasn't just a formal investigation, but something deeper was at play. The government officials didn't give clear answers on anything. They simply took everything into their possession in the name of investigation. As they left, they handed Parker a paper that outlined some terms and conditions. As soon as Parker got hold of the paper, he realized the situation was spiraling out of control. The rest of the team looked at Parker with questioning eyes, but at that moment, Parker's face remained silent. The atmosphere at camp that night was tense. No one spoke openly, but the same question lingered in everyone's mind. Was this a ploy by the government to ensure the true gold figures never came to light? Or was some big institution involved? Parker knew that this fight was no longer just about money, but had become a battle against truth and the system. Parker's suspenseful decision. After the government officials left, Parker stayed awake all night. He had two options, both extremely difficult. The first was to stand with his team and fight against the government and the system. But this decision meant a lawsuit, a legal battle, and the risk of possibly losing the gold. The second option was to reach a secret agreement with the officials and hush up the matter by telling the team half-truths. By morning, Parker's stress had increased. Old team members like Chris and Rick spoke to Parker directly. Chris stated clearly that the team had blindly trusted Parker, and now it was his responsibility to stand by them. Rick also reminded Parker that this wasn't just about the gold, but the hard work of everyone who risked their lives to extract it. But Parker was in a dilemma. He knew that openly defying the authorities could put his team at risk. The government's power was immense, and Parker's resources were limited. Furthermore, escalating the situation could have a detrimental impact on the show's image and his personal life. The entire team awaited Parker's decision. A hush fell over the camp. Parker gathered everyone and announced that he would soon make a move that would change everyone's lives. His words left everyone breathless. No one knew what direction Parker would ultimately take. Parker didn't directly reveal his plan. He simply said that he wanted the best for the team, but that some truths needed to be revealed before the right time. Hearing this, the team members became even more uneasy. The real twist, the truth about the money, is revealed. After weeks of tension, anger, and suspense, the moment finally came when the truth about the money was revealed. Parker and his team had been constantly wondering why the payment was stuck. They repeatedly asked the authorities for answers, but each time they were met with vague answers. But this time, the matter was different. Parker launched his own investigation and gathered evidence that exposed the entire conspiracy. In reality, the payment wasn't simply a system error or a document error. A major fraud lay behind it. It turned out that a trusted member of Parker's own team had deliberately created this error. Everyone was shocked. The revelation of this person's name sent shockwaves through the team. This was the person Parker had always trusted. Parker and everyone else were stunned to learn why he had done this. The real reason was greed and external pressure. This member had been bribed by a large company and some government officials. They were lured with money to conceal the true amount of gold and the actual figures. Instead, the man stopped the payment process to distract the team and prevent the true account of the gold from ever being revealed. When Parker presented this evidence to the team, anger and shock were evident in everyone's eyes. Chris Dumit was on the verge of throwing his chair in anger. Rick Ness stood silently, but his face clearly showed his anger. All the team members were shocked to learn that their own teammate was playing against them. Parker took a deep breath and said that this betrayal wasn't just about money, but about trust, and that was what hurt him the most. Parker gave the culprit a chance to answer directly. He admitted he made a mistake, but also said he was under pressure and that his own safety would be at risk if he didn't. This made the situation even more confusing. Parker found it difficult to decide whether to forgive him or expel him from the team. The team finally gets paid. After the truth was revealed, Parker took immediate action. He spoke with the authorities again and submitted the original report. When the government and others were presented with clear evidence, they could no longer remain silent. Finally, the payment process was restarted. The moment the team members had been waiting for had finally arrived. The money began to arrive in their accounts. This was the wages they had worked day and night for, braving cold, rain, and dangerous conditions. As the money arrived, both relief and joy were evident on the team's faces. Chris Dumit joked that he could finally get his old truck repaired, while Rick Ness promised to take his family on a long vacation. In these moments, the tension within the team slowly began to dissipate. Everyone embraced each other and celebrated their victory. But amidst this joy, Parker's face remained serious. Deep inside him, there was a fear that this fight wasn't over. He knew that those who planned this fraud weren't going to give up so easily. It was clear in Parker's eyes that he was going to face a much bigger threat in the coming days. Social media reaction. As soon as the news broke that Parker's team had finally received their payment and the culprit had been exposed, social media erupted. Gold Rush fans on Reddit began sharing various theories. Some believed it was all a plan from the beginning and an attempt had been made to frame Parker. Hashtags like #ParkerSchnabel and #GoldRushDrama quickly began trending on Twitter. People were reacting. Some were praising Parker for not abandoning his team even in such a difficult time, while others were questioning the government's role. Many people also created humorous memes, targeting government officials and the guilty team members. YouTube was also flooded with video reactions. Fans discussed the entire incident in live streams. Many supported Parker, saying that his hard work and honesty had brought the team to where they are today. Some fans predicted even bigger twists in the next season. The public support boosted the team's morale. Members like Chris and Rick personally thanked Parker, saying that the support they received on social media made them feel that their hard work hadn't been in vain. Parker, smiling quietly, said that the real battle was still ahead, but when people unite, any challenge can be overcome. This social media uproar made it clear that this wasn't just a story from a show, but a matter of people's hearts. Parker's team had won not only gold, but also the hearts of millions of viewers. Parker's interview and final statement. After the entire payment issue was resolved, Parker Schnabel spoke openly to the media for the first time. Everyone had eagerly awaited this interview, as fans and viewers wanted to know the real truth. As Parker appeared before the cameras, fatigue was evident in his eyes, but determination was also evident on his face. Reporters asked him direct questions. Why the payment was stopped, what happened to the government investigation, and what action was taken against the team member who betrayed everyone. Parker smiled and responded, but his answer was incomplete. He certainly acknowledged that the team was unfairly treated and that there were flaws in the system, but he did not reveal the true role of the government. The suspense in his words was palpable. Parker repeatedly stated that he looked out for the best interests of his team and did what was right. When asked if he would take legal action against the government in the future, he said, with a slight smile, "Some battles are fought quietly, and when the time is right, the truth comes out." This answer surprised everyone. Parker didn't say anything openly, but his cryptic answer raised even more questions in the audience's minds. It seemed as if he was both revealing and concealing everything. His interview made the story even more exciting, leaving people eagerly awaiting the next season. The team's future and new plans. This entire incident left Parker and his team shaken, but they refused to give up. Parker gathered the team and assured them that this was just the end of a chapter, not the entire story. He said that what happened was a lesson, and now they must move forward even stronger. Parker also made it clear that he wouldn't be confined to this location. He has discovered some new locations for the next season that hold even more gold than before. While he kept these locations secret, he did say that this new project will be the most dangerous and challenging yet. Team members also pledged their support for Parker. Chris Dumit stated that no matter how difficult the challenges, he will stand by Parker. Rick Ness also stated that this time they will prepare even harder and be ready to face any situation. It became clear that Parker's team will return more organized and stronger than ever. Did Parker tell his team the truth, or are some things still hidden? This question further fueled viewers' curiosity about Parker. Did the government deliberately try to suppress the truth and change the story? This question was even more profound, suggesting that there could be a deeper conspiracy behind the entire incident. Through these two questions, viewers were encouraged to share their thoughts in the comments section. The video also informed them that their opinions were crucial, as they would strengthen the next chapter of the story. Finally, viewers were urged to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and press the bell icon to be the first to receive notifications about upcoming episodes. This closing line not only concludes the story on a strong note, but also encourages viewers to stay tuned. This gold rush story isn't over. The real truth is yet to be revealed.